Hello, I am a forest spirit with a portal to Photoshop inside my body. But if you give me just a second, I'll open the portal for you guys too. There we go. So yes, welcome to Let's Photoshop second edition. Oh, yeah. Number 2. Today we're gonna draw another image that I don't know what it looks like yet. You can see it here now. Yeah. Don't you look forward to seeing how that is drawn in some time? I do as well. So let's go. So I thought I'd do a square document today because I don't know. I usually make like either portraits or landscape, but then I fill them up with smaller squares usually. So I thought, why do I never make the whole image square? But I didn't really have a good answer, so now I'm doing that. It will probably be like more Instagram friendly, at least. I mean, they like squares. And I mean, I feel like in some ways that pictures, like if you make something that's like landscape or portrait, like as a print, it feels more like a poster. But if you print it square, it gets more of the feeling of an art print immediately. And I don't know. Maybe sometimes you wanna trick the viewer into thinking the thing you made is art, you know. I mean, in some way, all art is about tricking the viewer into thinking the thing they're watching is, or looking at, or whatever, is art. Because if you're not doing that, then people don't think you're art, and then you're not making art, I guess. Starting out philosophical today. Maybe it's because all the art schools are closed now. There's like this what is art debate. It's more like just floating around in the group consciousness. Yeah, that seems like the most likely. For once I just started drawing something without knowing already where I should put it. Maybe I should not make a symmetrical drawing for once. I always make very symmetrical stuff. And I mean it's quick, because then it makes sense without you having to think about it, but you lose kind of a lot of the dramatic tension of something that's asymmetric. I mean, if I had to say, I'd say I like asymmetry more than symmetry. Maybe I should stop drawing so much symmetrical stuff. It's more efficient, really, you know. And then even if it's not aesthetically ideal, it's often practically ideal to get the most art out of time spent. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to draw, just like with no without putting him inside a box from the beginning, as I usually do, because you end up creating very different shapes around him as well that needs to be filled in. It's yeah, like once I've drawn like one not symmetric thing, now I realize, yeah, it's actually pretty much the same efficiency. I mean, you can't like flip and copy and paste stuff just as much, but you get all these silly boxes that you can fill with stuff anyway. And I feel like you need some yeah, asymmetry has like more potential for like images that feels like they have some kind of tension, and I feel like that's the most easy way to do that, is just like you draw stuff next to each other that either feels like opposite in what feeling the image sends out, or that they add to each other. Like if we made something really sad next to this guy, like a crying eye, then suddenly he seems more sad as well, you know? Or if we add something with a lot of motion this way, then it feels like it's like tipping over, and like, yeah, like that you can add stuff that not only adds stuff to the image, but also adds new meanings to the stuff you already drawn. Maybe we should do both then, since that was the two ideas in the top of my head right now, like the sadness with the crying eye, and then some motion in this direction. So yeah, maybe we should do more that. Yeah. It's kind of a Nike logo eye. Just do it. Just cry. It's okay. Yeah. That would be like a good like fake t-shirt, like you have the Nike logo, but it's more like a downward eye shape, and it's a tear underneath, and then it just says like, it's okay. Instead of just do it. I'd buy that t-shirt. Sorry about that. Yeah. Some kind of eye here, and then like to add to that direction that the eye has as well. Well, I mean, one of my favorite things is like just laser eyes, you know? Like eyes shooting rays. That always looks cool and have a lot of like inherent direction. I think this one should be even wider. Yeah. Can we just, I don't want that much of the image to be, wait. don't want like the whole image to be this rating, so I just need to space off some whatever shape that we can fill with something else later on. Oh, that's a shape. I accept you, shape. Welcome to my shape of words. So like the brush I'm using, it's like the only other brush that I use than the standard round one is this one, which is just, if I zoom in, this brush is just like a calligraphy pen that I actually can like rotate on the fly to whatever direction, which the regular vacuum pens can't do. But if you buy the ones that's like don't follow with the tablet but cost like a bit more, then they can have like track the rotation of your pen as well. And I think that's fun, because then you have like even more versatility in the tool without like pressing a button or changing a setting. It's just in your hand at all times. So you don't like have to switch thickness as often and stuff. I mean, I can draw this super thin line over here, or I can draw the super thick line over here, or anything in between, like with one pen. It is nice, but vacuum stuff is really expensive, and this, like, yeah, add another $100 or whatever to your total of what it costs to use these tablets if you wanna have the nice rotating pen. So you have to be kind of a gear nerd like me as well to even bother. But yeah, that's basically the only other brush I use. I used to use a lot of like texture brushes when I was several years ago. Yeah, at some point, or like for most of my teens and stuff, I loved to emulate textures and try to make it look like it was not done digitally, you know, with like brushes that makes it look like paint or old school vintage print, or yeah, a lot of paper textures and that kind of stuff. But the more I got to learn about Photoshop, the more I felt like it's more fun to do the stuff that can't be done in any other medium than to pretend it's watercolor or oil color or whatever, because it never becomes just as nice as the thing you're pretending when you have this unachievable goal of something that already exists, and it isn't that hard to do a watercolor instead. It's cheaper than Photoshop. But when you do draw digitally, there's all these things that couldn't have been done in any other medium. All these drawing tools that are just a byproduct of this weird ass photo editing software, and that's really interesting. I feel like, just as if I draw watercolors, I want to do watercolors that I want to do stuff in watercolors that doesn't look like a digital illustration or whatever. I want to do something with a lot of texture and that is very obviously a real ass watercolor, because that's the strength of that medium. How beautiful you can make stuff look very easily, actually. And then, yeah, when I draw digitally, I want to do all the stuff that you're only able to do this way digitally. And I mean, drawing like I'm doing now, there's literally no way to do that on any physical medium at all. There's nothing even close to just using tools, even like black and white like this. You can't like have any tool that just adds black and white on top of each other as effortlessly as this. It's I can't stress enough how fun that is compared to sitting and working analog all day. Which I also do. I mean, it's good fun, but if you want to make something that you have control over and you're not like just doodling for fun or whatever, you're trying to making the best thing you can, to put it like that. If you do it analog, you have to be careful, spend a lot of time and be sure you do it right, because most mistakes can't be 100% removed, and you can't move stuff around on the page after you put it down. Which just makes you, if you do it seriously, you spend more time doing it on paper, while like this digitally I can just go ahead full speed, and everything is I can control C and I can paint over and I can move stuff around, and there's impossible to like ruin the page. I can even go like 1,000 steps in history back and see what I did at earlier points if I just I mean, drawing digitally it has a lot of efficiency benefits. There's starting to become a lot of stuff on the page. Maybe we should save some of the white space for now and add more detail to the black and white we already have instead. So like this space is all about the direction leaning on the guy, as I talked about in the beginning. So I'll just try to, I don't want to add like stuff that move the other way. I want to add stuff that like are in the same direction, movement wise. Cool. Or maybe it should be like literal arrows. That could be pretty, yeah. I mean, that's one of the fun parts of like trying to add together like, eyes and arrows and iconography that has a meaning even no matter how you draw it. Or like arrows, yeah. Oh, I forgot the tear as well. But yeah, no matter how you draw it, you read. People who look at the image, they read it the same way they read a comic, kind of, like pictures next to each other give a meaning together. It's not a good sentence, but yeah, like if you see a crying baby and you see a dead woman, you assume that it's a dead mother. Sorry for the bad, sad example. I can't really focus on what I'm saying when I'm drawing at the same time. But yeah, your mind puts two and two together no matter what, kind of. Especially in like visual media. In film it's called like the Kuleshov effect. And there's a lot of like good videos on it I'll try to link to one here, like a good video about the color show effect. I've never done that on YouTube, but it's a part of film theory that I think is very relevant to everyone making visual communication and visual art. Yeah, I like the arrows. This part though, that actually doesn't really... Maybe that should be moving more in the opposite direction actually. Yeah, and if we like add more white, oops, sometimes you press the wrong button. Yeah, like white in the middle. Yeah, since this part is like not pointing towards the guy, it might as well yeah, move more like that. Oh, if I like add yeah, and then you start like this, where it's not that much that you made an image with symbolism as much as you just add whatever is fitting, and then the symbolism is whatever is interpreted, because like now I'm making some, like, it looks like either barbed wire fence or like chain links, like you know, like, yeah, look at that. Now it's like I mean, that's a very overused metaphor, if anything, you know. And then it just gets like these layers of some super on the nose and some super vague like metaphors for like whatever the person that looks at the image reads into it. And in truth, it's all pretty random. But then again, always when I like just like this draw whatever feels like should be there, I can always look back at them and read some of my current emotional state out of the imagery as well. So I don't know what that says about me, that since I feel like all my drawings are pretty like uncomfortable, but I'm not always uncomfortable, I promise. Yeah. And then we forgot like the tear. I mean, it has to be a crying eye after all. What if it's like just one of these? No, that one. That's like just bubbling a bit over, like an animated film, so like the tear is like building up on the underside of the end. Yeah. And then whatever we're gonna draw down here, it's just a tear running there, you know. Oh, and then like whatever thing we draw down here is also gonna be like visually connected to whatever the sad eye and the chains and the pointing towards the uncomfortable guy over here, you know. It's like jazz illustration where you don't have any end goal in mind for what what this thing is gonna feel like or look like, but everything that's added is added with a feeling and with the intention of it being open for change by the other elements you add later and on top, which yeah, I feel like it's kind of it's super cliche to like compare every art form in its unplanned setting as jazz, so sorry about that. Maybe I should just call it like freestyle or something hippity hop, or hip 20 years ago, I guess. Yeah. So what are we gonna do with all the small squares? What I usually do, I mean, is like to draw tiny silly faces in all of them. That's always good fun, and it's fun to look at afterwards. You just look at the corner and it's not like a lot of wonderful details. It's just a bit of fun, and it's like it rewards you if you care about actually looking at all of them individually, which most people wouldn't care. But if you like the image that much that you actually sit there and look at it long enough to look at every like individual square on this tiny edge, then you're also like rewarded for that by them not being the same, but being a bunch of different dudes, you know, and dudettes, or just is dude gender neutral? No, it's not. Guys, no. I don't know. I feel like mostly when I draw people, they have very hard and ugly shapes, which makes them feel masculine. But in my head, they're not even like, even if I like call them dudes sometimes or whatever, they are very androgynous to me. they're just it's like a stick figure, you know. It's you talk about it like it's male by default, but in your head it's actually just a human. Yeah, and I mean these drawings that doesn't have any really, or these humans I shit out, which doesn't really have any plan to them before you draw the individual elements, you know. You just go on autopilot and see what happens and try and add something that maybe would fit what's already there. I lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. It's a bit late here, but I thought I want to do like one more thing today. It feels like doing a thing and not just slacking off. And when I make a drawing and I make a YouTube video for an hour or something as well, you know, then I feel like I've done two things, even though none of them are any like productive really. I mean, it's not like I earn any money neither from this drawing or this video on YouTube, but that's true about almost everything I care about. The earning money part is more like some really silly limitation you have to try and fit into there as well. Maybe if I'll actually manage to make people watch my videos, I'll make one of those patrons that I've heard so much about. But I feel like you should make people care about you before you start begging for money. So we'll see about that. Just looking through them. Yeah, this is some good guys. Yeah, I like this. I like this gang. I'd hang out with this gang if I could. Or maybe that's just what we all are doing right now. Welcome to Ola and the Gang, a visual podcast where an unknown amount of square heads and one talking human hang out for an hour. It's not much of a podcast since none of the square heads can talk, but there's some drawing going on, so there's that. Ooh, that's like some. You can look deep into your soul. Ooh, okay, how about like this one face? Since I liked it, let's like give this one. Not like make it more detailed than the other ones, because it's just small, you know. But just actually care about it and spend a couple of more seconds on it. So I feel like I liked all the guys so far, but this was the one I wanted to get to know, you know. Oh. Yeah, it's like when you suddenly see a potential friend, you should seize that moment and get to know each other. And I mean, look at him. He's my very best friend at the moment. I mean, I hope it won't. He won't keep being that, because he exists as a 2D grid of pixels that's not alive. But I mean, right now, it's except for all of you guys, but you're in the future, so I can't hang out with you for real. It's just you hanging out with me. But tonight, it's me and him. He needs a name, I guess. Or her. I just talked about that. I think this is a woman, obviously. A woman that could break your spine by just headbutting it. I think her name is Fauna. Yeah, her name is Fauna. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Like the word for all the animals in an area. That word. That's her name. and we're best friends. Me and Fauna go 5 minutes back, and I have a really parasocial relationship to her, because actually I can't communicate with her. I can just mold her the way I want her to be, like some freaking psychopath. But we're good friends, so she forgives me. Haha. And we're done with the faces. Yeah. The whole gang. Nice. Yeah. I like that. We got these two blobs. I mean, it's like there's one that feels like he's sitting on it, and there's one that he's kind of pushing away as well, it feels like. Maybe we should give him some comfort. I mean, it's kind of he seems uncomfortable. There he's being pushed over by a big eye that's crying with chains on its eyelids. So let's actually like not make something frail here, but something like grounded, like his actual. It's like making him stable, you know. I thought of like some root, some tree root shapes, and like this is solid ground he's leaning against on this side. Like he's kind of being pushed over by this giant crying eye, but also he got steady footing, you know. It's yeah. And I mean that face is cradling inside his arms. What that means. Leave your like your interpretation of the symbolism in the comments after you liked and subscribed and whatever. Yeah, I like that. It's like some roots or something. But then again, it's just the black part, you know. It's the black part that is just a frame in the border and whatever. It's this thing is leaning on. It's sturdy, but it's also like nothing or death or whatever, you know. It's the opposite of what everything seems to exist in. Maybe it can be kind of like one of those elevation maps, you know, where you can see like lines going where the mountain is highest or whatever. Yeah. That's something, I guess. Guess we'll have to add something more. And we got this big chunk of nothing. Right next to fauna. Oh yeah, let's make the whole chunk of nothing. I mean, I haven't copy pasted anything this far. Let's make this whole blob into fauna. Let's see. Yeah, no, just right around the cubic. Now we're like, maybe if you like warp the, like if this was a big rock or something and we kind of warp the face a bit to like match up the shape of the rock a bit more. Yeah. We'll probably use the warp. Oh, maybe it's too slow with me like running a camera and everything. No, that's the thing. Like my computer is actually pretty old, and I'm not like sure how hardcore how hardcore photoshopping I can do when I'm live recording and everything at the same time. But no, it looks like it's chugging along. Yeah. That's... I really like this. Now fauna is a part of the real picture. Now we just have to make this thing not look that stupid. Let's see. Yeah, that almost does it. Like, since the rest isn't pixelated, I'll just fix that big fauna isn't pixelated either. We'll do that by just first adding some, we'll just remove some details basically. So first we'll add a blur, because I mean we can draw more details on her anyway. And then we do threshold. Or not, I guess. Oh yeah, my bad. I have to combine it with a white layer first. Ugh. Sorry about this. There we go. And then we can image adjustment threshold. Yeah. Now she like, I mean, she looks like just ugly vectorized, you know. Now we just have to fix the edge, which I pretty thoroughly fucked up. Yeah, tried to do something efficiently and then I did something wrong and then I didn't bother to find out what did wrong, so now I'm just doing it the manual way instead. It's like this is This is what I try to avoid with all the smart stuff I do, but sometimes I Photoshop myself in the foot, I guess. Yeah. I mean, this image is really gonna need colors if it's not gonna be, if it's gonna be like readable at all. Right now it's way too much of a mess. I was thinking I was maybe gonna do a black and white one, but doesn't look like it. Or maybe I can make like, maybe I can do it grayscale. Maybe we'll add some halftone. Maybe we'll add like one halftone and that will be it. Let's see. I mean, I've only been going for 45 minutes, man. If I'll do it like with one halftone, maybe I'll finish in an hour. That would be cool. Kind of want this. I feel like these episodes will be like, the shorter I can keep them, the more people will actually watch them. Let me know if you don't agree, and I'll watch the statistics. But yeah, I'd rather make several short ones, you know, that seems more digestible. Yeah, so now I'm just like adding stuff to like some layers with gray, and then we're gonna replace those grays with just a halftone instead. This pattern of small dots or lines or something like that. But it looks pretty boring at this point, if you ask me. It's just all these flat surfaces and gradients of gray is really super boring. But I like the end result, so then I do it anyway. Yeah. She shoots. She should be her own halftone, I think. Something pretty light. Yeah, let's try and make her halftone right now. Yeah, okay, so now I have her pixels on this level layer only. Let's see. I'll actually flatten this. Yeah, the image is a bit too big to, or maybe if we, no, we'll have to do this. The image is a bit too big to use the filters I really wanted to. If I make some, I wanted to make some more circular thing happening to some pattern on her face, but I can do the same thing if I just really specific settings on this wave filter. Yeah, that's gonna work. I'll go to image mode bitmap. Left on screen. Line angle, I think that's 90 degrees. Let's say 10. Yeah, that looks acceptable. I copy pasted that and not like back in history. I'll paste it there. I need to flip it horizontally, I think, and then apply the same wave filter again. Yeah. Transform, flip horizontally. Do a threshold just because I'm a nerd. Yeah. Now we have these lines. So that's what I'm like thinking to do with the rest of the image as well. Put these black and white patterns there. That from afar it would just look grey almost, but yeah, from afar it would look like the stuff before I add the pattern to it, you know, but it adds a lot of detail when you look up close. The faces, I think they should actually just be... Or it would be fun to have a... Can I add like a gradient? Nah. Yeah, I know. I know what gradient that could work. Because I don't really want all of them to be dotted or whatever, but a couple of them can have some small ones. So we can use this one, and we can have just like a couple of them who has some varying degrees of dots. I'll just add a pattern to that immediately. I'll do the most typical one of all. Too small maybe. It's a bit too... It's fine. It's fine, let's not be anal about this. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, and now let's do all the other parts, and then we'll do the person last. There we go. So that one. Yeah. Now it's starting to edit the other ones. Yeah. Now it's starting to feel like a print. So let's do the main dude. Let's do the doubts. I think at first we're gonna just take the effort of making the selection of his whole body, so I can just like paint inside it effortlessly. Close enough for that one. Yeah. I'll just add that as a white layer of pixels, and then I'll draw on layers with a clipping mask on top of it. I think I will start with adding some sharp shadows. Yeah, and with the calligraphy brush, that's pretty fun. So when you add shading like this, it's a lot about just, I mean, you kind of have to do that while drawing the lines as well, but you kind of pretend that this drawing in front of you, this person, he's not like a flat cartoon character, you know, he's in 3D space. He's not necessarily alive, but like I grew up playing a lot with clay, I guess, so I look at it as molding, you know. By adding and removing shadow, I kind of just defines what's sticking out and what's pointing in, and it's just a very quick way of defining the shape. So it's like imaginary clay work, kind of, where you just change the literal shape of the thing you're drawing by adding shadows and stuff. Or at least that's how it feels if I think about it, which I usually don't. Yeah, I like this. I think maybe I would want it to just be like a noise pattern actually. And I'll need use this button over there to make a selection of the channel, and then I can paint it in as black pixels with transparency instead of gray pixels, which means that when I put it to dissolve it looks like this, which is cool. But dissolve is also a bit weird, so you kind of have to scale it down because it works on a pixel level, and this document is like several thousand pixels in each direction. So I need to scale it down. Let's say 10%. How small is that? It's maybe a bit too small. 20. Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, don't worry about this next part being confusing, but I mean, I kind of scale it down and then I use dissolve that makes, instead of the pixels having transparency, just some of them are there and some of them are not, like a noisy pattern. And then, but that works on a one-on-one pixel layer basis. So if you have a very big document, you don't really see the individual pixels anyway. So then you have to scale it down before you apply it, and then scale it up to make the noise parts be bigger than just one pixel. So now there are 5 instead. And then we'll just use threshold again. No, that actually we have to merge it down. Threshold doesn't do anything if there's not... It doesn't change transparency at all. So then I needed it to go back from being black pixels with transparency to black pixels on the white background. So then I added it to the other layer. Then we can do threshold. Let's just try it at the standard. Yeah. Now we got like this kind of halftone-ish pattern. Oh, I mean, it is a halftone. It's just generated a bit different way. Yeah. And then maybe we'll actually like add another shading to him as well. Just because we're totally crazy. Because we are totally crazy, right? It's not just me. I hope you sit here watch me doing this. I mean, I think we can agree that we're both totally crazy. So let's do the totally crazy thing of adding 2 different halftone patterns to the same thing on top of each other. Yes. Totally crazy. Okay, so let's cross our fingers that this looks like anything at all. yeah. No, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, but sure. That's pretty cool. Let's add back all the other stuff. And then it's the line on the face of fauna. Haven't forgotten your name yet, baby. It's really wrong that this part has a halftone. Well, I can... There we go. Yeah, that looks more correct. Yeah, well, then we managed to get more than an hour in this time as well, and I think I'll call it done. Yeah. Should we do like a final? No, you know what? I'll make it like now. Scroll past digitally and post like the close-ups of the thing, because that'll look better anyway. So then, yay! I guess the only thing left to say is thanks for watching. I had a good time making this, and I hope you had a good time tagging along.